single day, trillions of dollars move around the world. Some of that money buys company shares, some finances governments, some pays for international trade, some protects farmers from uncertain harvests, some helps airlines manage fuel prices, some flows into gold, some into oil, some into currencies, some into digital assets. At first, these all seem like completely different stories, different assets, different markets, different people. But they're not. They're all solving one fundamental problem, a problem humanity struggled with for thousands of years. That solving it completely changed the future of civilization. The solution wasn't a single invention. It was an entire system, a system we now call financial markets. But here's the real question. Why did humanity need financial markets in the first place? Let's find out. A world before financial markets. Imagine a world with money, but no financial markets. People work, they earn, they save. Over time, millions of people accumulate wealth. At exactly the same moment, someone else has an idea. A company wants to build a new factory. A government wants to build a bridge, or a hospital, or a railway. A farmer worries that crop prices may collapse before harvest. An airline fears that fuel prices could suddenly rise. A business wants to import products from another country but needs foreign currency. Different people, different goals, different industries. Yet every one of them faces exactly the same challenge. The money exists, the opportunities exist, but they have no efficient way to find each other. Money stays in one place. Opportunity waits somewhere else. The connection is missing. And without that connection, economic growth slows down. Innovation struggles. Trade becomes harder. So humanity faced a simple but powerful question. How can capital move from the people who have it to the people who can use it to create value? The missing connection. For most of human history, this wasn't easy. If you had savings, you had to personally know someone who needed money. If you had a brilliant business idea, you had to personally convince someone to trust you. Everything depended on relationships, distance, reputation, luck. Finding the right person could take months or years. Sometimes it never happened. History wasn't held back because people lacked ideas. History was often held back because capital couldn't efficiently reach those ideas. Great businesses never started. Important infrastructure was never built. International trade remained limited. Not because people didn't want progress, but because there was no system connecting money with opportunity. Human civilization needed something much better. The invisible bridge. That solution became financial markets. But don't think of financial markets as buildings or trading screens. Think of them as something much bigger. Imagine the global economy as a living body. Businesses create products. Governments build infrastructure. Workers create value. Entrepreneurs create innovation. But none of them can grow without one essential resource: capital. If capital is the lifeblood of the economy, then financial markets are the circulatory system. They move money from where it is sitting to where it can create the greatest value. They connect savers with investors, businesses with funding, governments with lenders, countries, with global trade, and producers, with tools to manage financial risk. For the first time in history, money no longer needed to depend only on personal relationships. It could move through an organized system, a system designed to connect millions of complete strangers across cities, countries, and eventually across the entire world. One system, many markets. If financial markets solve one problem, why isn't there just one financial market? Because not every financial problem is the same. Imagine trying to solve every transportation problem with only airplanes. It wouldn't work. Some journeys need roads, some need ships, some need trains. Different problems require different solutions. Financial markets work the same way. When companies need long-term capital to grow, the stock market allows investors to become part owners of those businesses. When governments or corporations need to borrow money, the bond market provides financing. When businesses trade across borders, the foreign exchange market makes international payments possible. When farmers, airlines, manufacturers, or energy companies need protection from unpredictable prices, commodity markets help them manage that risk. And in recent years, digital asset markets introduced an entirely new category of financial assets. Different markets, different purposes, different participants, but together, they all perform one shared mission. They help capital reach where it is needed most. The real purpose. One of the biggest misconceptions about financial markets is that they exist so people can trade or make money. Trading is only one activity inside the system. It is not the reason the system was created. Financial markets exist because economies need an efficient way to allocate capital. Without them, businesses would struggle to expand. Governments would find it much harder to finance major infrastructure projects. International trade would become slower and more expensive. Innovation would receive far less funding. Millions of ideas with real potential would never become reality. Think about almost anything around you: the smartphone in your pocket, the airplane you travel on, the bridge you drive across, the hospital that serves your community, the renewable energy projects being built today. Behind nearly every major project, capital had to move from people who had savings to people capable of creating value. That movement is the true purpose of financial markets. The bigger picture. The next time you hear the news, stocks are rising. Gold reaches a new high. The dollar strengthens. Oil prices fall. Government bond yields increase. Bitcoin becomes more volatile. Don't think of them as separate stories. Think of them as different signals coming from the same global financial system. Each market exists because it solves a different economic problem. Each serves a different purpose. Yet every one of them helps keep money moving through the global economy. Once you understand that, you stop seeing separate markets and start seeing one connected financial system. Today we answered one question: why do financial markets exist? They were created to solve one of humanity's greatest economic challenges: moving capital efficiently to create value. But that leads to an even bigger question. If all financial markets are connected, why do we need so many different markets? Why can't one market do everything? The answer is surprisingly simple, because every market was created to solve a different problem, and understanding those problems is the key to understanding the financial world itself.